Greetings, learners. Welcome to week 7. Cannot believe there are only 2 weeks left in our course. This is wild. I'm sure you're excited and looking forward to your spring break. So this week, week 7 is the 16th through the 22nd, and week 8 is the 23rd to the 29th. Grades are due for me on the 3rd of April. So I need to receive all of your work, any late work, any redo work, any makeup work, no later than that date. And I'll be sending that via email, but just have that in your mind. If you think that you are so far behind that you can't catch up by April 3rd, then I'm going to encourage you to pursue independent study. You'll complete the form with the registrar, and then I will sign it. And we'll determine how much more time you need. But April 3rd is when I have to turn in grades, and the university does not give me any wiggle room on that. Before we dive into week 7, I did want to take another moment to talk about using artificial intelligence now that we're doing lesson plans. While there's no way for anyone to know for sure that someone else has used AI, there are a few telltale signs that I thought that we would go through. The first is just if there are a lot of transition phrases that are really kind of diverse and not similar to how people normally write or talk, and it's not just the beginning of paragraphs, but it's like every other sentence there are transition phrases. AI can give generalizations, but sometimes is not very good at specifics. So if you're reading from the book and it's like, well, I guess that's sort of what this is about, but that's not really what the reading was about. That's kind of a flag. If it formats and the citations kind of look almost like a spreadsheet, most of us don't build out like a spreadsheet unless we're actually in a spreadsheet, but sometimes that's how AI will format, especially ChatGPT Pro. If it's very clean, meaning that there are no errors. It's absolutely perfect. There's no typos. There's no run-on sentences. Every comma is in place. Is it really human? I'm not sure. It will kind of add random things in. So sometimes I'll see in student work like weird capitalizations or random symbols in a paper that don't make sense where they are. And that's the AI pulling information from references. And the other one is just too much detail. Very few of us are going to write more than we need to. And so when an expectation is a paragraph and a student turns in 7, you have to wonder, did they really just love the topic or did they get some assistance? So why does it even matter? It matters because as you learn to become a teacher, you are learning to become a chef of the classroom. And everything you learn in my class and in your other education classes, you're learning about recipes, but you're also learning about ingredients, you're learning about cooking temperatures, you're learning about measurements. And so to become a good teacher, you need to spend the time doing the work to make the meal yourself. And so, yes, I have been teaching for 20 years, and I did use AI this week to help me with a lesson. I'm going to show it to you right now. But I've been teaching for 20 years, and so I know what my materials are, what my strengths of my students are. I know my standards. I know what my students can or cannot do because I've been teaching a long time, right? So I don't need a lesson plan every day. But when you're starting to learn to teach, just like learning to cook, you need to spend your time getting to know all the recipes, getting to know all the ingredients, getting to know all the tools of the trade, right? How to use a mandolin and how to use a mixer and how to use a food processor. So that's why it matters. Yes, integrity is important, and I think there's a moral ethical question about using AI to complete your coursework. But for me, it's more, we want great teachers, and great teachers have to do the work in the beginning to learn how to be a great teacher. But let me show you because I want to be fully honest. All right, so I teach a class called AP Human Geography, and I use Google Gemini, not ChatGPT. And so, I have a prompt here. I want to review this part of Unit 4. I want my students to understand what's going on, but I really don't want it to be political in the Strait of Hormuz. I already have some of my ingredients, right? I already have a YouTube video. I already have a resource document, and I already have some ideas of some things I might like to do. And so I'm using the AI not to do my teaching, but to help me think outside the box. And so, the AI gives me this possible lesson plan, and I'm like, well, yeah, I like this, but it's not really tied to the article. Oh, yes, of course. Let's go back. This is kind of what I was talking to about the spreadsheet-like formatting. And so then it gives me another one, and do you want me to make a printable version of this? Now, this lesson plan it helped me with, I still changed. I still spent another 45 minutes revising it until it was something I used with students. So because I've been teaching for so long, I can pull all the ingredients, I can pull the tools, I can say, well, maybe a one-pager, maybe a this, maybe a that. And so I'm really using AI as like my lesson planning buddy rather than someone who's doing my work for me. All right, well, let's move on for that. So week 7 is on the Constitution and economics. Oftentimes this isn't what everyone thinks about. Someone's like, I'm teaching kindergarten. So today you'll learn there are things that we can teach to primary grades that help them better understand when they take formal economics as a senior. So there's an annotated Constitution, which I'll explain. We're going to look at a platform called iCivics, which is supported by Supreme Court justices. There's a last and final reading, and then there's another lesson sketch. For your geography lesson sketch you did last week, I will give you the opportunity to revise if I think it needs revisions, and same things with the economics lesson sketch. All right, so the state now requires that our program, LaFetra College of Education undergraduate Educational Studies program, embed instruction on the Constitution. And so that's what this assignment is. Now, what's really, really important is I actually need it shared with me. So it's not like other times where you can just submit it because you're going to be making comments. I need it shared with me. And the university is weird. I have 2 emails. I have my email, kkinsey@laverne.edu, and then I have a Google account. And my Google account is different. So you can see that here in red. If you share with kkinsey@laverne.edu, I will never get it. I just won't. It does not exist. So you need to share with this email address. It's in the directions as well. So this one is probably easier if I just show you what it looks like. So let's just dive in. Here we are in Brightspace, week 7. And this is the assignment. And so I kind of put an example in here. So what you're going to do is you're going to make a copy of the Google Doc, and then in the then you're going to open this link. So let me open it for you. So what this is a annotated Constitution. Every place you see blue words is a video of a member of Congress or an expert talking about that part of the Constitution. In government, our representatives of our government are our primary sources. And so it's important that students hear from actual representatives, either the Senate or the House or congressmen, or governors. So let's say I click on this President Pro Tempore. There are 2 videos here. I can watch this one or I can watch this one. Same dude, but they're both going to talk about that. So let's say that's what it is. So then when I go in my Google Doc, okay, so then when I'm in my Google Docs, the first thing I'm going to do is just answer the questions. So how often are representatives elected? And I'm just going to write 2 years. Okay. These do not need to be in census. So I'm going to go through and answer all the questions. And then I'm going to watch my videos. And I'm going to find the one I just showed you. I know it's this person. So, and then I would click on comment, and I'll say the President Pro Tempore breaks a tie if the VP is not available in the video Orrin Hatch talked about the honor of the position and how he goes to the oldest serving member. Okay, whatever the video is about, and then you're going to comment. So when you're done, all of these questions will be answered, and then you will have watched 5 videos and left 5 comments. And that's why it needs to be shared with me, and it needs to be shared with me as either having edit access or comment access, because otherwise what will happen is I will get all of these answers, but I won't get your comments on the right. So I put a picture in here kind of to remind you, so this is kind of what it's looking like. So you're going to open the link. So the first thing is make a copy, answer the questions. The Constitution is linked in the document. After you've answered the questions, then you're going to annotate. You're going to watch 5 videos, leave 5 comments. Okay, and then so it needs to be a Google Doc, and it needs to be shared with this email, catherine.kinsey@laverne.edu, because that is my Google account for the university. The second assignment is to check out this resource, iCivics. iCivics is great because it has a lot of simulations, a lot of hands-on documents, just a lot of different types. It has games that students can log in and play, and it goes from upper elementary through high school, and it's supported by Supreme Court justices. So Neil Gorsuch, for example, is one of the Supreme Court justices, but they usually have both liberal and conservative Supreme Court justices on their board, and it's really with this mission of promoting civics education. Everything's free, so you're going to create an account as a teacher account. You're going to review some lessons, and in the text submission box, explain the lesson you downloaded, how would you use the lesson, and then evaluate the iCivics as a tool. So that's roughly either one really long paragraph or 2 smaller paragraphs, right? You're explaining the lesson and how you would use it, and then you're evaluating iCivics. Evaluate is higher than summary. Evaluating is a judgment. So you have to explain what iCivics is, and assignment's going to be turned in here. And again, it's just go in the text submission box. You don't need to do it in a Google Doc. Next is the reading. This is the last week reading of the semester. So chapter 11 or chapter 12 focused on economics. You can get to the reading either through the week 7 checklist or by going to the discussion board and scrolling down. Again, this is the last one. So these are the pages, and that's due. The first part should be due by Thursday, and then the commenting on your classmates by Sunday. And then the final assignment is the lesson sketch. So this is very similar to the geography lesson, but it is focused on economics. I have provided you with some resources. Again, using teachers pay teachers or asking AI to create one is a violation of the university's academic honesty policy. And next week you'll be doing a full lesson plan, so all of the parts. All right, so I've provided you some different resources here. This is the lesson sketch template. It's the same as last week, same components. And so again, on this one, just turn in your best draft. Don't worry about it. If I feel like there need revisions, I will give you the opportunity to revise, and I will tell you which parts need to be revised. Okay, so I think here we're not going for perfection. We're going for giving it our best shot and then see where we land. Some of us have had more education classes, have more experience writing lesson plans, and other students have less experience writing lesson plans. So just do the best that you can, and then I can provide feedback based on where you are. Alrighty, well, thanks so much. Again, good luck on these last 2 weeks of the term. If you have any other classes, I hope they're going well. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll talk to you guys soon.